For 60 years, Toyota built one of the most valuable brand promises in the history of the automobile industry on a single word: reliability. Not speed, not luxury, not styling. The promise that a Toyota would still be running long after everything else on the road had failed. That promise survived recessions, survived competitors, survived entire decades of changing consumer taste. Then, in 2024, mechanics started pulling apart a brand new Toyota truck engine and finding metal shavings inside the crankcase that should never have been there in the first place. Not from where? Not from age. Left behind, at the factory during assembly. So, how does the company that built its entire identity on getting things right the first time end up with metal debris inside an engine 3 separate times? These are the 10 reasons Toyota's manufacturing debris scandal cracked its reliability myth. Number 10, an engine with too much to prove. The V35A, Toyota's new 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6, wasn't a minor addition to the lineup. It was engineered to replace the legendary 5.7-liter V8 that had powered the Tundra pickup for over a decade. An engine with a reputation for near indestructibility among truck owners who use their vehicles for genuine work, towing, hauling, and years of daily abuse. Replacing an engine like that isn't just a technical exercise, it's a reputational bet. The V35A had to match or exceed the old V8's durability while delivering better fuel economy and more power, a combination that meant tighter tolerances, more complex turbocharging, and less room for the kind of manufacturing imperfection that a simpler, more overbuilt V8 could have absorbed without consequence. The engine was set up, from the very beginning of its development, to be judged against one of the most trusted powertrains Toyota had ever built. It didn't get the chance to quietly prove itself. It was compared to a legend from day one. Number 9, machining debris that had nowhere to hide. The root cause, confirmed in Toyota's own filings with federal safety regulators, wasn't a design flaw in the traditional sense. It was leftover machining debris, tiny metal shavings generated during the manufacturing process, left inside the engine block instead of being fully cleaned out before assembly. Every engine block starts as a rough casting that gets machined down to precise tolerances, a process that inevitably generates metal particles. Every engine plant on Earth has a cleaning process designed to remove that debris before the block moves to the next stage of assembly. The question the V35A recall raised wasn't whether debris exists during manufacturing. It's universal. The question was why Toyota's cleaning process, the same fundamental process that had successfully protected engines for decades, suddenly wasn't catching all of it on this specific engine family. Number 8, a design where the bearing had nowhere to hide either. In an older, more forgiving engine design, a small amount of residual debris circulating through the oil system might get trapped harmlessly in a filter or embedded into a bearing surface without causing catastrophic failure, the kind of minor imperfection that generous bearing clearances were historically built to absorb. The V35A's design didn't offer that margin. The debris migrated under engine load specifically to the number 1 main bearing, the bearing supporting the front of the crankshaft, and ground away at that surface until the crankshaft could no longer rotate freely. That specific failure location wasn't random. It reflects modern bearing tolerances tightened to support the thinner oils and lower friction targets that current fuel economy regulations effectively demand. Tolerances tight enough that a design which once could have absorbed stray debris without incident now had no margin left to compensate for a manufacturing imperfection that shouldn't have been there at all. Number 7, a first recall that didn't fix the problem. Toyota issued its first V35A recall in May of 2024. Adding additional cleaning steps to the assembly line at its plant in Aichi Prefecture in response to the debris issue. On paper, that's exactly how a manufacturer should respond to a manufacturing defect: identify the root cause, correct the process, move forward. Except the fix didn't hold. A second recall followed, revealing that the additional cleaning steps introduced after the first recall weren't sufficient to fully remove the residual debris causing the failures. For a company whose entire manufacturing philosophy is built around treating every defect as a root cause problem to be permanently solved rather than patched, needing a second attempt at the same fix was itself a signal that something more fundamental about the process was still misaligned. Number 6, a third recall and a redesigned bearing. By the time a third recall campaign arrived, stretching the total recall timeline from May of 2024 through the spring of 2026, Toyota had gone further than adjusting a cleaning procedure. The company redesigned the number 1 main bearing itself, switching to a harder surface material, specifically intended to better resist contamination damage, even if trace debris remained present. That's a materially different kind of response than the first 2 recalls. It's not an admission that the cleaning process still has a flaw somewhere unidentified. It's an acknowledgement that the bearing itself needed to be engineered with more tolerance for imperfection. An implicit concession that eliminating debris entirely from a high-volume manufacturing process might not be fully achievable, and that the more durable long-term fix was making the affected component itself less vulnerable to the debris that was going to be there regardless. Number 5. Nearly 270,000 vehicles and 3 brand names. The scope of the recall campaign wasn't contained to a single nameplate. It spread across the Tundra pickup, the Lexus LX, and the Lexus GX, 3 vehicles built on shared platforms and sharing the same engine family, which meant the reputational exposure wasn't limited to truck buyers. It reached directly into Lexus, Toyota's flagship luxury brand, built specifically around the promise of refined, trouble-free ownership at a premium price point. A debris-related engine failure in a work truck damages Toyota's reliability reputation among buyers who use their vehicles hard. The same failure showing up in a Lexus SUV damages a completely different reputational asset, the promise that paying a premium buys you insulation from exactly this kind of problem. Number 4, failures that arrived faster than anyone expected. Some owners reported engine failures at under 45,000 miles, well inside the standard warranty period, but far below any mileage figure anyone associates with a Toyota truck engine. That timing matters. A failure at 200,000 miles might be written off by an owner as an engine finally reaching the end of a long, honest life. A failure at 45,000 miles reads as something else entirely, evidence that whatever went wrong wasn't gradual wear catching up to the engine. It was present from the day the vehicle left the factory, quietly working toward failure from the very first mile the owner drove it. Number 3, a repair that Toyota paid for, and a question that money couldn't answer. Dealers replaced entire engine assemblies under warranty at Toyota's expense, which is exactly what a responsible manufacturer should do when a manufacturing defect causes this kind of failure. The financial remedy wasn't really the issue for most owners, and it wasn't the issue that mattered most to Toyota's long-term reputation either. The issue was what 3 separate recall campaigns on the same fundamental root cause said about a production process that, by definition, is supposed to be one of the most refined and closely monitored in the entire global auto industry. A single recall is a mistake. A second recall after the first attempted fix failed is a pattern. A third recall that requires redesigning the affected component entirely is something closer to an admission that the underlying problem was harder to solve than anyone initially understood, and that admission is far more damaging to a reliability-first brand than any individual repair bill. Number 2, the myth that mass production and precision don't have to compete with each other. Toyota's entire post-war identity, going back to Kaizen and the Andon cord culture built into its factories generations ago, rests on the idea that these 2 things aren't actually in tension, that a company can build hundreds of thousands of units a year at massive scale while still catching every meaningful defect before it reaches a customer. The V35A recall cycle is the clearest recent evidence that at a certain level of manufacturing volume and modern engine complexity, that balance gets harder to hold than the brand's history suggested it would be. It's not proof that Toyota abandoned its manufacturing philosophy. It's evidence that even the most refined version of that philosophy still has to contend with a level of engine complexity and a level of production speed that didn't exist when the myth was first built. Number 1, a reputation that took 60 years to build and 3 recalls to crack. Every previous entry on this list is a piece of the mechanism. This is what all of it adds up to. Toyota's reliability reputation was never really about any single engine or any single decade of engineering. It was cumulative, built recall by recall, decade by decade, out of millions of individual ownership experiences that reinforce the same conclusion again and again. A Toyota simply does not break. That kind of reputation is resilient. It absorbs the occasional recall, the occasional bad model year, without much lasting damage, because it's backed by so much accumulated evidence pointing the other direction. What makes the V35A story different isn't the severity of any single failure. It's the pattern. 3 attempts to solve the same root cause, a bearing failure at mileage figures well inside what any Toyota owner has come to expect as untouchable territory, and a fix that ultimately required redesigning a core component rather than simply cleaning up a process step. For a company that built an entire global identity on the idea of building things right the first time, needing 3 tries to get a fix in place isn't just a costly recall. It's the first real crack in a myth that spent 60 years convincing an entire industry and millions of owners that Toyota simply didn't make this kind of mistake. Whether that crack heals or widens depends entirely on what happens. The next time, an engineer at Aichi Prefecture has to decide whether a ½ millimeter of tolerance is close enough. If you want to see how a completely different manufacturer's most advanced engineering achievement turned into its own reliability crisis. The next video covers that story.